Welcome back. Today I've decided to go over the basic controls of Fusion 360 because I realized that I didn't cover that before starting to make parts. There is a lot, but first we will start with how to change your view of the part. We start with the basic screen that shows up when you start a new project. If you move it right now, there isn't anything that changes because there is nothing to view. You know it would be moving though because the cube in the corner represents the center of space that you are seeing. Here, I made a cube similar to the one in the corner, so you can visualize it better. To rotate it, you can hold the Shift key and the middle mouse button together, and then drag the mouse around. There is also this Orbit button, which does the same thing, but I can't say I really use it. If you click it, then drag around into space, it also rotates it. And then to turn it off, press the Escape button on the keyboard. Also, to just move around the view of the part as it stays still, hold the middle mouse button and drag it to where you would want it to be. This is very easy to understand in comparison to the last one. When making work planes, it's important to use views that make sense, especially when we get to later, making code based on the model. It wouldn't make sense for a hole to be drilled on the bottom of a part if your machine can't do that. So that's why it's important to know about the view cube and how to move it. There is also this side menu, and I realized I also never explained what it does. It's kind of like a file tree for information about the file we're working on. First on the list is the name of the project. It has a cube beside it to show that this is actually a 3D model. Next is the document setting, with a gear beside it. If you click on the arrow to expand it, it shows the units you are working in. I'm using inches and ounce mass. But if you click on it, you could also change it to a different measurement system. After that is named views, which is just what it sounds like. It records the views that are named. Later, this will be important as you can make custom views, like a tangent on a circle, like this, or an angle on the side of the part. This allows you to easily find that view and work on it again. And after that is origin. It's the guides you see when you make a new work plane that helps you understand where you are in space. It is hidden most of the time though. I don't really need to see it and keep it on if we have the view cube to help us in the corner anyways. The bodies folder will gradually gain new entries as we make more individual 3D parts. So I made a cube, a cylinder, and a sphere. They would be listed in order they were created. You can also double click it to name them. It's probably a good idea if anybody else is going to look at your file. Sketches are also listed in the order you create them, and are similarly named. Sometimes it's hard to go back into a sketch after you complete it, because it might be thinking you're actually trying to rename it, but double-clicking usually works, or right-clicking and editing the sketch. Now here's a pretty mysterious function that took me a while to figure out. The timeline, which is right here at the bottom. It records all of the actions you took in the file and puts them in order. So here at first I made a sketch, and then I extruded it. Makes sense, right? But you can also scroll back through the timeline to before you did something, such as going back to the sketch before I extruded it. This becomes kind of complicated on a part you moved around a lot, or just did a bunch of processes too. Be careful with this, as if you change something in the past of the file, it affects the end product. It's pretty unavoidable though. If you click on your finished sketch and decide to edit it, it'll take you back to that previous point. Just make sure to update the functions after altering the original sketch. Otherwise, there will be a lot of errors. There are also all these other options up here, but I only really work with the solid option. But the other ones have their purposes too. That's all I could come up with to explain for now. I'll probably do more if I notice when rewatching this later that I didn't explain something important. See you next time!